In this video, I'd like to present to you a framework that, dare I say, might make you wise. It's a framework centered on truth, complicated by human perception, leading to self-development and growth. It's philosophical and psychological. It's nothing new. These are timeless truths, fundamentals that our entire civilization is based on, but which we might be forgetting. This video will get deeper as it goes along, so make sure to watch until the end. The center of all of this is the concept of truth, and while truth is a concept that has been disputed and debated by many philosophers and religious figures, for our purposes, we will define truth as simply reality, that which can be observed, measured, or supported through evidence, but is not limited to the external material world. What is the ultimate aim of reason, critical thinking, and science? It's to find truth. There must be an objective truth because we know that our perceptions are sometimes incorrect. We need to compare our perceptions to something objective. When we find truth, we develop beliefs. Beliefs form worldviews, and worldviews help us make maps of the world, which help us make predictions. Worldviews also help us make sense of the world and give it meaning. Those who have spent time digging up and examining truth are familiar with its nature. They have an intimate knowledge of its qualities. Truth has a tendency to be complex and nuanced. The truth is rarely at an extreme, rather, it tends to be in the middle, a mix of both convenient and not so convenient facts. Truth can be elusive and buried under the surface. First impressions are often unreliable. Looks can be deceiving, and truth is sometimes counterintuitive. Truth can sometimes be disturbing and inconvenient. The facts and statistics aren't always going to align with your preferred conclusions. Sometimes truth is hard to swallow. Lastly, we need to admit that when we're talking about truth, what we're really doing is playing with representations in our minds. Ultimately, truth for human beings is just a mental construct. It's a set of beliefs, and those beliefs change. Knowledge is a process. Absolute certainty is not tenable. The truth is important. Truth informs our views of the world. And if our worldviews are based on falsehood, it will be like having an incorrect map. We'll get lost, we'll waste resources, and we may even die. The real world around us is proof that science and reasoning work and have brought us amazing technological and medical advances. Without truth, justice, fairness, and morality aren't possible, since they all require factual accuracy. The court system couldn't operate unless it was able to find the truth of what happened. Lies can work in the short term, but they tend to fail in the long term. Denial of truth doesn't do anyone any favors. Cognitive dissonance comes at the cost of mental and physical ailments. Alignment with the truth brings confidence and peace. Now here's where it gets juicy. Humans have a complicated relationship with the truth. We need factual information, and yet we are conflicted and compromised. We're compromised by our egos and our ancient and hardwired drives to conserve energy, to seek comfort, to feel safe, and to survive. In a word, we are biased. Our minds are a stream of consciousness, restless and ever-changing. Our emotions and our focus change from minute to minute. We are association and meaning-making machines, judging, connecting, interpreting, and expecting. Without the anchor of reality, our minds drift away from objective truth and into an ocean of imagination, fueled by our experiences, desires, hopes, and fears. To see the nature of the mind in its purest form, all we have to do is disconnect from external reality. Take the example of Michel Siffre, who voluntarily subjected himself to an experiment in which he lived in an underground cave for 6 months. His detachment from the anchors of reality led to a slowed perception of time, causing him to develop a 48-hour internal clock. He experienced visual and auditory hallucinations, including a paranoid sense that he was not alone. He was pushed to the edge of madness. When information is missing, our minds fill in the space. We see meaning in blots of ink and see faces where there are none. Without an anchor, we fail to notice slow, gradual change. Without the anchor of objective reality, rulers, clocks, scales, we are drifting in an ever-changing echo chamber of our minds. When it comes to biases specifically, we suffer from a myriad. When presented with evidence that counters our beliefs, we rarely change our minds. Instead, we actually double down. We underestimate the complexity of reality, reducing things into black and white, oversimplistic terms. Instead of seeing facts, we make judgments. We jump to conclusions about people's intentions. We make assumptions about cause and effect. We give in to social pressure, doing whatever we have to fit in. Many of our childhoods were us exchanging authenticity for survival. We're arrogant and proud. We think of ourselves too highly. We're too confident that our perspectives are the correct ones. We tend to pay more attention to negativity, loss, and danger at the expense of balance and objectivity. We develop defense mechanisms, guarding ourselves from blows to our egos and challenges to the worldviews that we hold so dear. We're easily manipulated, and most of us are easily bribed for the right price. And the kicker of it all is that over 90% of our mental activity isn't even conscious. We don't even know what we're doing or why. Yes, our minds are compromised, but as we can see all around us, it's not completely hopeless. With hard work, practice, and discipline, we can get better at the pursuit of truth. The first thing we have to do is to make truth our highest priority, the ultimate concern. Because if we don't, we are leaving the door ajar for agendas. We have to decide between the pursuit of truth or pursuit of agendas. What do I mean by agendas? Ultimately, agendas are our drives for survival, safety, comfort, and convenience. These are directly related to our drives for significance, power, and control, which support survival and felt safety. And by extension, these drives pervade not only our interpersonal relationships, but also our religious and/or political loyalties. It can even be argued that every evil done is done to serve survival, safety, comfort, or convenience. Since we are fighting against our compromised minds with their biases and agendas, we have to aggressively pursue truth. It has to be an almost masochistic endeavor that requires discipline, reflection, and accountability. We have to foster the right state of mind, a state of mind that is organized and emotionally regulated. We have to engage claims with rigorous and thorough examination. We have to force ourselves to look for and evaluate contrary evidence. We have to step outside of our comfort zones and not give in to our needs for felt safety, felt comfort, or self-gratification. And we have to have the courage to stand up for truth, to speak up, and take the risk of being rejected and ostracized. Make no mistake, the pursuit of truth is not just an intellectual one. Facing hard truths and admitting you are wrong are very emotional in nature and require vulnerability and an ability to be aware of, honor, and process your emotional experience. We cannot become wise simply by learning to think. We also have to learn to feel. Intellect and emotion have to grow together. They depend on each other. Which brings me to my final point. The pursuit of truth is a vehicle for growth. Self-control is perhaps the most fundamental building block of personal self-development. A pursuit of truth means acting out of a disciplined loyalty to our values and principles instead of our often conflicting instinctual drives. Consistently challenging ourselves and remaining on a constant watch for our creeping bias and self-interest and lapses in logic fosters reflectiveness and self-awareness. Knowing we are biased and not conscious of most of our mental activity leads to vulnerability, humility, and accountability, which leads to more connectedness with others. Our rigorous examination fosters curiosity, objectivity, and openness to other perspectives. Our openness to other perspectives fosters intellectual and emotional empathy with other people. The willingness to stand up for what you believe to be true fosters authenticity and courage. And all of that fosters wisdom and good judgment. If you're enjoying this video, please like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. I'll leave you with examples of two archetypes, the fool and the sage. The fool blindly reacts impulsively without thinking or awareness. He jumps to conclusions and takes things at face value. He lacks critical thinking skills. The fool is confident. He confuses his perception for reality. He believes what he is told and regurgitates what he learns. The fool is driven by outrage and fear. The fool responds to criticism with counter-accusations. He influences through the use of shame and emotional blackmail. The fool doesn't see the irony in his words, nor how counterproductive his actions are. The sage listens carefully and responds thoughtfully. He understands his own and others' basic emotional needs. The sage is full of doubts and yet remains self-confident and assumes the best of others. The sage is skeptical and seeks evidence, yet is aware that he is not unlike everyone else. He is biased and makes mistakes. The sage is consistent, self-controlled, and driven by principles. He is full of conviction, yet offers grace. The sage is not concerned with outcomes, but still achieves success.